other industry receives such bipartisan scrutiny. Disinformation, content moderation, deplatforming, antitrust, privacy, and the list continues to grow. We discuss these things too often in isolation, but they are all related. And it starts with the fact that your users aren't your customers. They are the product. More specifically, the data that you collect from your users is the product. You are incentivized to collect and monetize user data for behavior advertising. This results in the collection of even more user data. And data is unique as a business asset. It doesn't deplete. Data is perpetual and reinforcing. Data begets more data. Massive data collection expands your market share, which harms competition. That's why censorship is so concerning to all of us. Your platforms have a stranglehold on the flow of modern communication. And I think we absolutely have to resist the urge of content moderation and censorship. In 1927, Justice Brandeis wrote, "The remedy to apply is more speech, not enforced silence." I think that statement still holds true today. Yet your platforms don't simply silence certain speech. Your algorithms are designed to reinforce existing predispositions because you profit by keeping users locked into what they already enjoy. This leads to information silos, misinformation, extremism on both sides, and even more data collection, which repeats the cycle. Mr. Pichai, you testified before the House Judiciary Committee last year, and at that hearing, I raised several examples of Google's consolidation of the ad tech stack. Your answers largely reiterated the privacy justifications, which I understand and support. However, my question was whether Google's consolidation of both the buy and sell sides of digital advertising would further harm competition. Since then, I have reviewed Google's Privacy Sandbox and the Phlox proposal, which is an alternative group identifier to replace third-party cookies. Again, I understand and I appreciate the privacy justification. But, and this is my question, how will these actions not further entrench Google's digital advertising market share and harm competition?
Congressman, as you rightfully point out, privacy is really important and we are trying to get that correct. Users are giving clear feedback in terms of the direction they would like to take. Advertising allows us to provide services to many people who wouldn't otherwise be able to use services, and we are trying to provide relevant ads protecting their privacy, and that's what Flock is working on. We will.
I'm going to move on because I understand the privacy. I understand the privacy, and I understand the rationale of eliminating individual level tracking in favor of cohorts and the potential privacy benefits of user data in Chrome at the device level. But this is still eliminating competitors' access to user data at a time when you already control 60% of the browser market. I have real concerns that Phlox will incentivize more first-party data collection, which will not actually benefit user privacy. Instead of spreading it amongst a lot of different companies, it'll all be with you. And so I guess my point is Congress needs to conduct careful oversight as the Privacy Sandbox and Phlox are introduced. And we need to ensure that the user privacy increases and that competition is not stifled further. But I do have one question, and it's important. I'm going to ask all three of you. When we're conducting competition analysis in the tech industry, should non-price factors like privacy be considered? And I'll start with you, Mr. Pichai.
I think so. I think privacy is very important, and we've called for comprehensive federal privacy legislation. And to clarify, Google doesn't get any access to Flock data, which it is protected, and we will publish more papers on it.
I understand completely, but you're forcing advertisers into the ad stack. I don't discount it. It increases privacy. I think this is a real problem because I think they're in conflict with each other. But Mr. Dorsey, do you think when we're conducting competition analysis in the tech industry, non-price factors should be considered?
Not sure exactly what you mean, but open to a further discussion on it.
All right. How about you, Mr. Zuckerberg?
Yes, Congressman. My understanding is that the law already includes the quality of products in addition to price.
And I will just say, I appreciate you talking about the difference between big platforms and small platforms, because I think in our history of trying to regulate big companies, Congress has always done a really good job at harming the smaller companies worst. And with my last 6 seconds, because this isn't the appropriate hearing, but I'm going to ask, please all do a better job of making sure artists get paid for their work on your platforms. And with that, I yield back.